Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be ranking all of N-Strike. I will be ranking this list based on kind of just my preferences, to be honest, because I was around at the very end of N-Strike. I wasn't even into nerf that much at this point. So I can only do what I can with the knowledge I know. N-Strike is before my time. So we'll just see how this goes. Starting off at 26 is the Reflex. The Reflex is, I don't know what they were doing. All these are going to be pretty bad because they're reverse plunger, but it's okay. So power doesn't really matter in this list. Like, what is that handle? I don't know how they made it comfy, but it's not bad. But it's a one finger handle. And that the trigger, why is the trigger so big compared to the handle? And also, when you prime it back, its plunger tube sticks out of the blaster, and some kids would get their hands jammed in it when it's slammed forward. So, overall, not good. Not good at all. At 26 is the thing that came with, well, the Titan. It's three blasters combined into it. There was the Titan, there was the other one, and then the Scout. The Scout is the worst of the three. It's a one-shot blaster. This one actually has a handle and dart storage, so you have to give it something. Plunger tube does not stick out of the blaster. All in all, it's okay. N-Strike didn't really have many bad blasters, but it's just okay. Like, it's still, no power. It's not that good to today's standard, but it's okay. The trigger might have some issues. I feel like this is a trigger you would really have to pull all the way down, so the trigger is probably not great either. At 24 is the switch shot. This thing is actually pretty good. This one is not reverse plunger tube. It has power, and its cool thing was you could take this top part off, its entire main body, and you can put a Wii remote into it, so you can play the Wii Nerf games. And yes, there was Wii Nerf games. The issues with this is, if you ever want this, at a thrift store, you're never gonna find it with that its actual mechanical thing, because it just always just came out and dumb, always got lost, always something. To be honest, the handle stuff is not even needed. The extra storage is not needed because you can just use that top part as the gun itself. It's not bad at all. Handle's pretty good. Normal N-Strike handle, Not bad. It's good. Dart storage has power. But because the actual gun itself can be lost, that's why it's ranked 24. At 23 is this thing, the remake of it that actually was made to fire normal darts of the time. And this thing has power. This thing is a bit thin for what it is, to be honest with you. It's pretty thin. Handle is not great. I own a ton of these, and they just have so much power in them. You can mod the crap out of them. And for the time, this was a really fun thing that they did to reskin. But in the end, it's not different. It was just a reskin. And the trigger, bad. Handle, I'm going to say the handle's bad too. Dart storage, one shot. Like I said, all these are just one-shot blasters, which is not really what is important for the time. At least, for now at least. 22, the deploy. Deploy was just fun. It's stock, it's everything just deployed. It kind of was in a little package. Click the button on top, it deployed. That's why it's ranked 22. The deploy is just fun. This thing's power is non-existent. This thing farted out darts. But because of its cool abilities, had a magazine, gotta be 22 just because how fun and how cool it was. Like, still to this day, people would take the field to have fun with a deploy. I mean, I certainly would take the field for a deploy. It's just how it is. 21 is the Spectre. The Spectre is a 5-shot cylinder blaster, which is not bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Handle's fine. Again, the trigger is not great. The triggers in End Strike were just not great. They were like fully pull down triggers. But 5 shots, the cylinder did not remove. But I don't think this was bad. The stock was pretty bad. It's foldable stock. But the barrel, greatest barrel nerf ever made. The silencer barrel. Like, everyone wanted this thing. Everyone wanted this thing for that damn barrel. But the blaster itself is usable. You could take the field with this thing. Not bad either. It was hitting pretty decent. Now at 20, this is the other part to the Titan. The Hornet. Hornet, 6-shot air pressure blaster. This thing is just pretty fun. Pretty fun. You pump it up, pull the trigger, fire the darts, slam the button on the side to fire them all, which is really fun. Stock, not really existent. You can't really use that stock. But for air pressure, because it's air pressure, this thing is powerful. It's useful for the time. And it was just fun. It's just insanely fun. I would take a field with the damn Hornet. It's just fun. And it connected to the Titan. And it was so cool because that back part right there connected to the Titan. And when you're pumping the Titan, it would also fill the Hornet, which is just a awesome idea. That's just so cool. At 19 is the Firefly. The Firefly is a awesome shell of a blaster. Handle is awesome. Trigger is okay. Not great, not bad. It's okay. Stock is just awesome. Awesome stock. Awesome priming. Everything is in the position it should be with a blaster like this because priming's close. CQB style. And 8 rounds. The Firefly. Power is interesting. It depends. But usually it was pretty good. So that's why this thing claims this spot, and an awesome shell. And I don't know who doesn't like this thing. I want one. It's just cool. I'm going to make stock. I have a few of them that are broken that I'm going to make stock things out of because the stock is just that good. At 18 is the good old Recon. The Recon, stock attachment point, nerf rail, barrel attachment point, laser sight. What more could you need? But in the end, this guy, probably the worst trigger known in Nerf. It's just terrible. But stock, held a magazine, was okay. Very flimsy. Scope, that scope does nothing. Barrel's kind of cool. This is probably one of the more well-made barrels because it's just very nice. Laser doesn't do anything. But it's a magazine-fed blaster. Top prime was not good at all. But it was just very useful, and what it came with, you could just use very nicely. And this is just, you can tell, this is just a good rifle. Just shoulder it, take the field with it, have some fun. But power and a few things just doesn't get it to where it should be. Handles fine. End Strike just all had fine handles for the most part, except the the worst blaster. At 17 is the long strike. This is on the verge, I think, of Nerf Elite. I just don't think it was Elite yet because it was still in that weird middle ground. I think this was like the last blaster before Elite. Yeah, because it's still reverse plunger. Still probably one of the worst ranges ever, just how long the barrel is and how much it has to travel. But for a sniper, it was awesome. Stock is beautiful. Handle, beautiful. Like, it was awesome feeling. You could remove the barrel. Also, scope protection point didn't come with scope, came with the weird flip up things, which is dumb. But still, magazine fed, and this was just a good sniper if you wanted to snipe people with. But its power was not there, and for a sniper, that's a big issue. The stock also could hold 2 extra magazines. You prime this guy from the side, and it is just a good blaster. All these blasters are pretty good. Nerf knew what they were doing with End Strike. That's all I gotta say. At 16 is the Secret Strike. The Secret Strike is a very small. This is the smallest air pressure blaster Nerf made. You put a few pumps into it. You press that top button, fires a dart. Pretty dang good. I mean, at the time, because I'm a pistol guy, I would probably run a ton of these on me. Just bring them out, pull the trigger, fire them. Because all you need is just pump it up, and it's ready to go. You just need to press that top button. And it looks uncomfy, but just because how the back part is, that weird, almost stock looking, really fits the hand pretty well, and it's pretty nice, to be honest. 15 is the Rapid Fire 20. You pump this, and when I say this, I mean it. You pump this thing for like 4 minutes, and then you get 20 rounds of rapid fire beauty. Not bad at all. Just 20 rounds really fast. The issue is reloading this thing sucks because you have to throw all the darts in the front. Then you have to start the pumping phase, which takes forever. I don't know why it takes forever, but it just does. But it's a full auto blaster. Does what it wants. Does what it says it will do. 20 rounds, rapid fire. That's all it needs, and that's all it does. Stock, I wouldn't really call that a stock. That's just kind of piping. I own one of these, and it doesn't really work well as a stock. And also the handle's like just fine. Nothing wrong with the handle. Kind of boxy, you could say. There's just not a lot of room for your hand. If you have a bigger hand, like just how it works with that front guard, it just probably won't fit. But this was a fun blaster. I think the switch on the side, you can switch it to semi-auto. I don't know if semi-auto really worked ever, because mine especially doesn't. I tried it, and it just doesn't work well. Full auto is just the way to go with this thing, really. At the 14th spot is the Mag Strike. This was really close for me, but I put this one ahead because of the way how it works. It's only 10 rounds in a clip fed thing. And it's clip fed. So if you add more of these clips, you can just keep loading and firing. The pumping, you have to pump way less for this guy. And still does about the same performance. But with this, how the air tank is, it has a little stock kind of thing on the air tank that you can shoulder it with. And it's not terrible. Not good at any means, but it's not terrible. It's okay. The stock's okay. So this is pretty much a main. You can use this thing as a main. 2-finger trigger, which is just different. We don't get a lot of those, especially with something like this that's just interesting. And air pressure, I think air pressure is just the better way to go. Not for full auto stuff, but it works. It did what it needed to do, and if you had like 2 or 3 clips, you would have a lot of fun just dumping rounds at people. At 13, here we go. This is where it all started, the journey of the Maverick. Went through so many iterations now, but this is where it all started. Well, the yellow one, this is just the blue one. 6 rounds, pump action, amazing handle, beautiful handle. Love that handle. Pretty, yeah, that I would say this is a good trigger. This guy has a good trigger. You just have to, it's still just a fully pulled trigger though. And 6 rounds, pretty decent FPS. I mean, pretty decent power. It's not great. It's decent. Leaning a bit lower than decent, but it's alright. And this is the go-to sidearm of the time. This, or I think one other one, but this, if you want 6 rounds, this is the way to go. Good sidearm. The best sidearm of the era, really. Now at 12 is the Element. Why do I put the Element above the Maverick? It's because it has, well, it also has 5 rounds of onboard capacity, 1 in the barrel, and I think this is the most powerful blaster I have of this like era. I don't know why this one is so powerful, but it just is. It's just a very powerful blaster. An issue is like just trying to holster it is not great. Its handle is beautiful. Its trigger is pretty alright, but beautiful handle. This is also not reverse plunger tube. That's probably why it makes it powerful. And even has a place for a scope. Like, it's just cool. People sat on this blaster, I don't know why. And I actually made a master key of this thing, and I got hit. Well, it hits around like 120, my master key of it. And it's just awesome. Love this thing. And here's the other go-to sidearm of the time, the Nite Finder. This changed stuff. Handle, amazing. Trigger, bad. But, stuff happens. It's only 1 shot with 2 shots of onboard capacity. Really, of the time, it's either this or the Maverick as your sidearm. This one had way more power, though. So, would you like power or capacity? That's how it kind of worked. Also plays for a scope. This is also not reverse plunger, and it just packed a punch. For some reason, I feel like this guy's a little bit more powerful. I don't know why than this one, but it's just my feeling. I don't think that's true, but it's just how I feel, because I have them both, and it's just what it is. I think this guy had a better seal. I think that's why. But yeah, all in all, really good pistol. Can't get much better than this. At 10 is this guy. This guy is awesome. Pump action. Plays for a stock. Never came with a stock though. And came with an 18 round drum. Not many of those anymore, huh? An 18 round drum is awesome. It's mag fed, pump action. Its issues is it had some jamming issues and like fully seating the pump forward. You have to fully seat it forward or it won't fire. It had issues not fully seating. Handle is a little bit blocky, a little bit worse than the other ones, but still not bad. Trigger still terrible, just like the other ones. But yeah, overall it's pretty good. This is one of the big ones as a main if you want to use a main. At 9 is my preferred one, which is the Retaliator. Wait, sorry, the Raider. My mind is not working today, huh? The Raider is just awesome. This was still the reverse plunger tube one, so power was just terrible. Really bad, actually. But it came with amazing collapsible stock. Still, to this day, the best collapsible stock Nerf has ever done. And it came with 35 round drum. Like, what do you need more than that? And its pump action, great handle. Its actual handle for the blaster is okay. Don't know why they couldn't just make its handle also the other handle. Trigger, still bad, but overall, this was very sleek. You can tell the mag is fed from the side, and I just love for the Raider. The Raider is awesome. Can't go wrong with this guy. A lot of capacity, a lot of ammo, and even mag fed. So if you had more mags, just throw in another one. At number 8 is the one that I had when I was younger, which is this guy. 10 rounds of motor power. This was pretty much I think this was like the pre-strife of the strife, pretty much. 10 rounds in a rotating drum. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what that's called, a drum. And this guy was fun. There was no rev trigger. You just turn the switch on the side and it will start revving and it's on. Pull the trigger. Trigger is... I actually do like this trigger because it's very mechanical. It's very nice clicking. I like it. I like the shape of this guy. I like the front muzzle. Stock attachment point too. So if you wanted to, you can put this in stock. But this is a little bit big. But this would be my preferred pistol of the time. Because 10 rounds of semi-auto, it's gonna do well. I mean, I would take this on the field today. I mean, it wouldn't be powerful, but it would be fun, easy to reload. I think there's some issues with like darts falling out. If you have bad darts, I would understand. I can see how the darts would fall out. But it was good. I really liked this guy. At 7 is, you know, the big minigun of the era. Was this the first Nerf minigun? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go with this being the first big blaster Nerf made. 24 or 5 rounds in a chain fed thing. It's just fun. This guy is hefty. It feels like a minigun. Like, what more could you do? Switch up top, you flip it on, pull the trigger, it starts firing in a slow rate of fire, but it's not too slow. It's actually kind of a nice rate of fire. It's just, and he uses a spring instead of flywheels, so you can hear the chunk with every shot. And if you didn't have batteries, you can use that side prime on the side to prime it and fire it too, which works. It's not great, but it works. And the handle where you hold it is just awesome. It's just a really good handle. I like holding it. The bipod, awesome add-on. Handle is okay. Trigger, pretty bad. But if you want just big power, this was what you had at the time. The Vulcan, awesome blaster. A ton of rails on it. Don't know why. I don't know what you're supposed to mount on it. But yeah, just really fun blaster. At 6 is probably the funnest blaster, the Big Bad Bow. It fired arrows, you can see, has 3 of them. You pull the blaster apart completely. Pole arms did nothing. But when I was younger, I had this guy, and I modded it. It only hit, I think it hit around like, I don't know, 75 FPS, which at today, that's not a lot at all. But at the time, like, I outranged everyone at my wars. It was just fun. That was when I was just doing little wars in my backyard. But awesome blaster, like I said, you can mod this thing to hit really hard. The one I have, which is still my original one that I call Musket, I've modded it throughout the years, and I think it hits about 140s right now, which is, you could take that to the field and use that. Like, it's pretty dang good. This guy, a lot of power you can get out of this guy, and it is just a really fun blaster, even if you don't mod it and just have the arrows. Trigger is a little small. I just don't know what nerf is really doing, because the front trigger, the front handle, the handles. The front handle is perfectly good. It's a good size. The back handle is too small. What are you doing, nerf? Trigger has that snappy kind of trigger feel. I like it. I think it's a pretty decent trigger. And yeah, that's the big bad bow. Fun thing. And like I said, the bow arms do nothing, so just rip those off. At 5 is the Stampede. This guy, like, you should know what the Stampede is. It's Captain Xavier's, like, all-time main. It uses a spring instead of its flywheels again, and it's just very chunky, makes the chunk sounds. Came with the best shield Nerf ever did, so if you need a shield, this is the one to go to. Even the bipod is kind of awesome, because it's a handle, you press a button on it, the bipod jumps out, and it's just really cool. And just the look and design of this, I don't think Nerf is matched with like the newer iterations of this. It is very back heavy, but like I said, this thing can be modded. Magazine fed, came with 18 round magazine, and is just awesome. It's just a really good looking blaster. Handle's fine, trigger's fine. There's nothing really bad to say about this. Maybe an issue is that the stock is just flat, so it's just flat against you, but I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And so many rails to put anything you want on this thing. It was crazy. What was even crazier was when this thing was originally supposed to be released, it was supposed to come with the 50 round drum. It originally was supposed to come with a 50 round drum. I think at the time they couldn't figure out how it would work, so it just came out like this. Which is a shame, but does not put anything against this thing. Like, it's just a really good blaster. Electronic, if you couldn't tell. At 4 is, yes, in my opinion, this is the best shotgun Nerf has ever made. Hasn't been matched, because you open the barrels, you throw the barrels down, you load the rounds into the barrels. You flip it up, shut it, you pull the trigger, you got 2 shots. You load it into the barrels, which is awesome and so fun. Nerf, bring it back. Come on. This is the reverse plunger tube. Figure it out. We need power. We need this thing with power. We need normal, no reverse plunger tube this time around. Trigger, perfectly fine. This is one of the better triggers. Handle, perfectly fine too. I don't think it's amazing, but it's not bad. And it came with dart storage on it, which was removable. Nerf, removable dart storage. Bring it back. Don't just have it built into the blaster. But yeah, you can remove the dart storage. You can hold 8 on it. Yeah, 8. And it's just really fun. Pull the trigger halfway, fire 1, pull it fully, fire 2. It's kind of really hard to fire this thing once, in my opinion, but it's just fun. It's really, really fun. Like, this is an awesome blaster. It's not really a main and not really a secondary. It's in that middle ground, which is kind of weird, which is not always great, but it's just a really, really fun blaster. Nothing gets better than loading your Nerf darts straight into the barrels. Like, it's just awesome. Now we get to the top 3, the legends of the End Strike era. At number 3 is where it all started. The first mag-fed blaster that the mags were compatible with other things. The long shot. The long shot was the sniper of the time. Sorry, I got allergies. But the sniper of the time, even though it sucks, this thing's terrible. It went nowhere. The amount of barrel it has to travel through is crazy. The front gun on it is just so funny and is probably the worst blaster nerf. No, not the worst, but it's in the top 10. I can do a list. If you want to see me find the top 10 worst blasters nerf has ever made, leave a comment below, because this guy would definitely be on that list. It would be in the top 10 worst blasters nerf has ever made. Shotgun primed, fires 1 round, really bad. Really, really bad. It fires 1 round, really bad. But the handle itself is really good. The handle is really nice. Yeah, but the handles on this guy, are very nice. Triggers, perfectly fine. Scope, amazing. One of the best scopes Nerf made, even though it's just plastic inside. And a built-in bipod, which, in my opinion, I don't really like. But at least this bipod is actually rigid and works well. Stock that is adjustable. Stock is still too short at its max, but it's still really nice. I do really like this guy. Great thing. And also the front gun is removable, so you can get more power out of it. And yeah, for a Springer, like we know this plunger tube. This thing, like, you can get this thing hitting 300 if you really want to. This guy has so much power built into it. The long shot, you can't go wrong. But with the long shot at 3, where are the next 2? At 2, like, do I even have to say anything? You know, this is the Jolt. This has gone through so much crap now. It's been way too overdone. But the original Jolt it's just a good blaster. One shot, pull it down, fire. Hits really hard at the time. It was a really good sidearm. This was also probably when it came out, the best go-to sidearm. It's more of a third dairy, but you get what I'm saying. And with this one, the original one, if you unscrewed it, its actual O-ring on the top, its plunger tube thingy, forget what it is, but the head of it was screwed on, so you could just unscrew it to modify it, which was also awesome. This was the only one that I know that is actually just screwed on, which is cool. And yeah, and I think it looks really nice. I like the gray with the black and the orange. Just a really good thing that you know it's good when it's been through so much stuff. It's still here to this day. No changes whatsoever. And yeah, it is the Jolt. But what is possibly above the Jolt? Well, this is completely my bias, but I don't care. Is the Titan. The Titan is Nerf's most powerful blaster they have ever made. They did make a water gun that was more powerful, but that's a water gun. This is the strongest Nerf gun. This was air pressure. This had a big ass tank. It had connectors to put 2 more blasters on it, like I said, to complete the series. Even it has, why is the back so weirdly shaped? Because for a smaller kid, you put that on the ground and you pump it down, which I think is also a really fun thing to do. Its little sight is completely terrible. I just usually chop that off. But it's long. You can use it as a stock. It doesn't feel great as a stock, but it is supposed to be a stock, and it works. It fires this massive rocket, which is so fun. It's so fun to use. I mean, Captain Xavier made Titan Ball for this thing. It's just great. and you can use this tank to do whatever you want with it. You can get this thing hitting, I don't know, 350 to 400 FPS if you wanted to. And even stock, it's just so fun firing a missile at people. Like, at the time, if I was born in this era, I would probably just run this thing. The Titan. It's just so fun to use. It's funny sending a big ass rocket at people. Like, I use Nerf Mega XL now because I love firing big ass rounds at people. Firing a missile is just different. It's just, there's no beating this. I don't care what you say. The Nerf Titan, the power, the fun factor, the ammo. You can't go wrong with the Titan. And with that, thanks for watching, guys. I hope to see you next time. We'll see what we'll rank next, really. Will be a poll on my channel if you want to vote. And vote for what you want to see next. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.